Tracy Bryant here, also known as Tracy the Sacred CEO and Mama T the OG. I'm happy to come to you today and just kind of share a little bit of my journey. For the past 3 years, I have been doing deep internal work. Some mornings I woke up and I didn't know what to do, where to go, who to reach out to, who to connect with. And one key thing that has remained the same for 3 years, since the day I decided to do this work, this womb work, this healing of the divine feminine, since I decided to recognize who I am as feminine energy, the day I decided to do this work, I had began the journey of choosing myself. And it didn't always show up as me choosing myself. Many times it showed up as me denying myself, denying my truth, living for others, serving, spreading, sharing, dividing, and giving of myself in ways that did not necessarily serve me, but served others. And I'm sure if you are a woman listening to this, you can truly understand. And in my 50 plus years, I finally, through all of that, through all of the 20s and the experimentation that I did in my 20s and all of the sacrificing and denying myself in my 30s and the becoming self-aware in my 40s to now being in my I choose me in my 50s and coming up on my 60s, I have to say that this journey has not been in vain. This journey has not been in vain. I've been in and out of relationships. I've been a good mother, sometimes bad mother, sometimes, good person, sometimes bad person, sometimes good friend, sometimes a bad friend. I've been all of the things. I've taken care of myself and I've let myself down. I've done all the things. I've done all the things. And I'm still not done. So I say this to say that I accept myself in all of my mistakes, so-called mistakes, with all of my losses, and in all of my lessons. I honor my healing, and I honor this space where I finally chose me. I finally let go of the labels that connected me to others and how I serve others in those labels. I'm at the space and state where none of that even matters. And I had to go inward into the dark. We often hear about us searching for ourselves, and the scribes and the master teachers and the ascended masters that were here before us all taught us and said that in order to really know and understand the universe, you have to go inside. And we hear it, and it just goes over our head. We never think inside. Well, you think you know yourself, right? You've been dealing with yourself for so many years, and you're just sure that you know who you are until circumstances arise. And that's why they always say never, because you don't know who you are with each circumstance that presents itself. You think you know who you are. You think you know what you'll do. But you really don't know that version of you until you experience the circumstance in which you have to reveal yourself to yourself. So that means you are forever unfolding. You are forever unfolding. You are forever evolving, right? And I say that to say, in me choosing myself, I released all of those matrix milestones, those matrix markers, those markers that says, you have to do this if you're a wife, or you have to do this if you're a mother, or you have to do this if you're a woman, or you have to show up in these ways in order to get the so-called accolade, label, or prize. And none of us know what we're doing. Many of us are following other people that are figuring it out along the way. They're in trial and error, just like you are. Yeah. You have some who may be going through a journey that's similar to yours, and it looks like they're doing pretty good, and they kind of, can lead to a degree. But even with that, at some point, you still have to go off onto your own journey and learn what it is you came here to learn. And going deep and taking the hero's journey inward, it's very painful. Extremely uncomfortable. Many times you feel like you're going to suffocate. You can't breathe. You cry all the time. You're standing there in the middle of a dark space, and you don't know your way. And then after you see sides of yourself and levels of yourself, and you experience more of yourself, you then become a light to yourself. And you find your way back. And that's where I am. I found my way back. And I'm so honored that I had the experience that I had. I'm so honored that 3 years ago, I went to Mexico and got with the shamans and did some shamanic work and became one with myself again, with my higher self, and with everything that is and isn't. It was a beautiful experience. And I went in a time when I was in so much pain. I'm also happy that I was courageous enough to go into Sedona by myself and take a journey as well. Yeah. When you truly choose you, it's going to be very painful. It's going to be hard. You're going to do a lot of questioning. You're going to question yourself often. You're going to ask yourself often, should I be here? Should I be doing this? Why don't I just go back and do what I was doing and make that work? But it no longer works. Everything that I was doing before this point no longer works. It no longer works. It's an old program. It's an old, outdated program and system, and it no longer works for who I've become today. So as I step into this new program and this new identity that I am creating with myself, for myself, as I show up as God, because that's what I'm doing. I'm rebirthing myself. I'm learning myself all over again. And it's a beautiful, painful, uncomfortable experience that I would not trade for the world. I would not trade this. I would not trade this. I know many of you have heard me on my new podcast, and I talk about that struggle, and I talk about the anger, and I talk about the sadness, and I mention the depression and the anxiety and the fear and the releasing of an old identity and being connected to someone that I truly, truly loved. And I feel good that I could honor my pain. I could honor my sadness, my fear, my anger. I'm not hiding that. And I won't hide it. Who am I hiding it from? You? Because I can't hide it from me. And I'm the ultimate judge and jury over my life. I'm the CEO of my life. So if I can't hide it from me, who am I really hiding it from? Who am I hiding myself from? I own my pain. I own my fear. I own my anger. And I honor in it. Because there's so many lessons there. Anger is just a measure and a guide and a gauge letting you know that boundaries have been crossed in your life. Yeah, that there should have been some boundaries there. Right? So how am I going to be upset with myself about being angry? Yeah. I hope you can honor your feelings. I hope you get an opportunity to truly honor your feelings and not be ashamed about your feelings. Not be ashamed about what you've experienced or what you have to experience in order to get to the center of you. Because shame is such a hardened prison to be in. It removes you from yourself and everyone else. And it taints all of your experiences. Especially the pleasurable ones. And in this life, we need to experience as much pleasure as we can. As much joy as we can experience. As much happiness as we can choose and share. We need that. We really need that. Yeah, the dark night of the soul. Some people will call it a spiritual awakening because that's what it is. I've experienced I think about 3 of them in my lifetime. And that's where everything that you've known or knew is all destroyed and no more. And you have to go in search of an evolved you. And sometimes it happens all at once. And really, it's been happening. It's been dissolving. You've been evolving. But it seems like it hits you all at once. And that's what makes it so painful. And so, because it knocks you off your square. You straight up knocked off your square, baby. You know? So I ask you, how will you truly show up as you today? How will you truly honor you? Will you honor the true you? Or will you honor the you that everyone else needs? Will you choose you today? I have a few offers that I want to share with you. And one of them is Sacred Sip, tea, wine, and real talk. And it is an intimate gathering of women on June 14th. That is a Saturday evening from 6 to 9 at a private location. And we will get together, about 20 women, and we will sip and we will have conversation concerning relaxation, rest is medicine, releasing depression and anxiety. Those things that we experience that we really choose not to be aware of. As women, we are taught to go on autopilot. And when we're depressed, we just say we're tired and we continue to move through. We continue to do what's necessary to what? Survive. And 95% of us are in survival mode. We're in fight and flight at all times. And it's become so custom that we don't even recognize we're in it most of the time. And I'm going to ask you a question. As a woman, how many of you can honestly say you feel safe? How many of you can honestly tell yourself or recognize or know the last time, if ever, you've felt safe? Truly secure and safe with your life, with your health, with your finances, with your living situation, with your relationship, with the protection of your family, yourself, your children. How many of you can honestly say you feel safe, even in a relationship? Because many times we have to protect ourselves from the ones that we're with as well. I am just coming around to feeling safe in my body. Because for years, ever since I was a little girl and I was violated. I never quite felt safe in my body. And it shouldn't be like that. But it is for many of us. So if you're ready to have these discussions and you're ready to come into sisterhood and connect with other women and have these discussions and lay it all on the table. How they say it, lay it on the floor. We gonna give it. We gonna share it with one another, and we're gonna release some of these things. But not only are we gonna do some releasing and some discussions and some conversations, we are going to share strategies to help us overcome not feeling safe. Strategies to help us align with personal goals to where we can release, some of that survival energy, being stuck in that real stagnant, sticky survival energy. Oh, it's so sticky and tight, right? So, yeah, those are some of the discussions we are going to be having while we sip mimosas and sip tea and have delicious bites to eat, And we're also going to be filming our first episode of The Sacred Sip. So this is a divine time for you to align in sisterhood and feel free to say those things that you've been holding, to have a voice, to be heard, seen, and felt. I hope you'll join me. It's Saturday, June 14th, from 6 to 9 here in Atlanta, Georgia, at a very beautiful sacred location. And if you know anything that I do and I put together, it always has a big, classy energy. But this is more dim lights, soft tones, candles, soft music. Because I want you to feel the energy of being able to exhale amongst your sisters. Because when we get together, we heal, right? Now, I did mention me going into Mexico and working with the shamans, and I'm incorporating plant medicine into our womb healing. So if you'd like to join me for our sacred plant medicine ceremony, you can join us on June 28th and 29th. DM me the word rooted. So you can be rooted, so you can rise up. So we're going to go into sacred ceremony. We are going to do ancestral rituals. We are going to do some self-care rituals. We are going to tap into the wisdom and the spirituality of the ancient mothers. We are going to do divine rites of passage and more. June 28th and 29th. It is only $555. That's $555. And that comes with the lodging. That comes with the sacred medicine. That comes with all of the things we need for ritual and ceremony. And that comes with food. So I definitely wanted to make that an affordable offering so that you can encounter your next level of healing. Why are we incorporating sacred plant medicine into the work? Well, if you haven't recognized, beloved, we have just experienced a big earth energetic shift. We have actually changed and shifted timelines. And I know many of you feel it. You're either more emotional, some of you you feel like you're stagnant. Some of you feel like you maybe broke wide open, right? You have these different symptoms, nervousness, anxiousness, headaches, depression, okay? And you feeling an uneasiness. You finding it hard to get grounded, right? That's because an energetic shift has taken place. We have shifted consciousness on the planet. In us being the mothers of this planet, okay? The ancient mothers are calling us to level up and to evolve in this sacred womb work. And we are going to need the help of our plant allies. So if you're interested, DM me the word rooted. We are creating 2 safe and sacred containers for us to continue to do the work in becoming our own medicine. I love you. Peace and blessings. DM me if you love to go. Oh, you can click the link to get the information for the Sacred Sip, Tea, Wine, and Real Talk experience. And that is Saturday, June 14th. And you can DM me the word rooted if you'd like to come into sacred ceremony with us June 28th and 29th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. Peace and blessings. I'm glad I found you too, dear sister.